We start with a point.
Hi, it's Rob Bryant and welcome back to the Imagining the 10th Dimension video blog. Today's entry is called You Have a Shape and a Trajectory. And Jason's playing away with the old video feedback here, and he's got something kind of interesting that actually defines interesting shapes in behind me. Now, just a reminder, as usual, if you're seeing this on YouTube, we provide a link in the description box over here to the text version of this blog. This blog was originally published on February 23rd, 2009, and this is how I started out the blog. I said, George Harrison, born February 23rd, 1943, would have been 66 years old today. Happy birthday, George, wherever or whatever you are right now. And this blog entry goes like this. I've talked many times now about Douglas Hofstadter's wonderful book, I Am a Strange Loop. Coincidentally, both my book and Hofstadter's put forth the same idea. Traditionally, it was believed that each human being has one indivisible soul. While there is indeed something unique about each person's individual experience, it's much more accurate to think of a soul as being created by an interlocking system of patterns, shared across time and space. What are some of the ramifications of thinking of things this way? In entries like The Big Bang and The Big O, we've talked about how sexuality provides connections across the history of life on this planet and perhaps even beyond. Music is also very much part of the same discussion, and we've looked at music as patterns that connect us together in entries like Music and the Dance of Creativity, The Geometry of Music, and Disorders of the Mind. Music and sex are examples of the kinds of patterns that connect us together. There are other patterns we can look at that show us how each of us is on our own individual journey within our physical bodies, each with our own unique pattern within the whole. In entries like Crossing Your Arms to Change Your Trajectory, we've looked at how those patterns can be easily affected by adjusting our physicality. And in Changing Your Genes and Changing Your Genes Too, we've looked at the surprising new science of epigenetics, which shows that changes in lifestyle and attitude can cause bad genes to be switched off and good genes to be switched on. For about 15 years, back in the 70s and 80s, I was the music director of the local professional theatre here in my hometown of Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. I recall a casual conversation I had with a young actress who said she was having trouble identifying with the character she was supposed to be playing. I asked her this question, what kind of music do you think this person would like to listen to? The actress immediately got what I meant. Music has a physicality, an emotional drive to it that can cause a person to change their body stance, adjust their mental attitude, and this is why certain people like certain kinds of music. If you're trying to get into somebody else's headspace, so to speak, then imagine yourself liking the same music that they do. Are you depressed? Put on a song that you associate with happy times and your mood will be elevated. Or put on a song that resonates with your depression. At least you won't feel all alone. With people walking around with headphones and personal music players all over the place, this might seem very obvious. But physicality, mental attitude, and music are intimately tied together, and people who understand how much music affects them can use music very effectively as a way to enhance their activities throughout the day. This is also why it can be so annoying to be forced to listen to someone else's music if you don't want to. It's like their extra-dimensional shape is impinging upon your own. So, actors, whether they do this unconsciously or consciously, deal with these shapes and patterns that make each of us unique all the time. Watching an actor become someone else is a big part of the magic of that profession. An actor can change their physical stance, their body language, their internal rhythms, even the part of their body or face that their voice is coming from. In other words, they find a way for what we might think of as their soul to adopt a different shape and trajectory. And that is something we as human beings recognize and are fascinated by. Now, does this all sound too airy-fairy to you? Here's a link, if you're reading along in the blog, I'll be providing that for you, to an article that appeared a few months ago in New Scientist magazine. It was called Voice Impersonators Use Brain to Become Characters. The article went like this. When impersonators mimic an accent, celebrity, or do a voiceover for a cartoon, they may use areas of the brain not normally activated during speech, enabling them to get under the skin of their target. Sophie Scott of University College London and colleagues asked 7 people to impersonate 40 celebrity voices and a selection of foreign accents while lying on an fMRI brain scanner. Only regions normally activated during speech lit up. In contrast, when professional voice impressionist Duncan Wisby did a range of impressions in the scanner, many more brain regions were active. The researchers say that this additional activity may reflect greater skill at impersonation. They presented the findings last week at the annual meeting of the Society for Neuroscience in Washington, D.C. Several of the regions in question are associated with vision and motor control. Scott suspects they light up because Wisby thinks about what his target looks like and then imposes their features onto his own body to improve the voice. Interestingly, Wisby seems to produce the same pattern of brain activity even when the impression doesn't have to involve a specific individual, for example, when mimicking accents. When we asked him to try a Chinese accent, he said he was thinking about a woman who sells herbs near his house, says Scott. Now, isn't that interesting? This is something I've seen myself with my son Mark, who has learned to speak English, French, Spanish, and is now learning Serbian. Each language causes people to hold their mouths and place their voices within their masks differently. And this is what I was meaning before when I was talking about how an actor's voice can come from a different part of their face. If someone places their voice up here, it sounds one way. If they place it down here, it sounds another way. And exactly the same notes when sung can sound can sound completely different depending on where it's coming from. So in a sense, Mark is becoming a different person as he speaks these languages. Why are simple visualization techniques so effective in changing people's trajectory, putting them on a better path? Back in my blog entry, Information Equals Reality, I talked through this as one way for people to move themselves to different trajectories within their fifth dimensional probability space, and this is what I ask people to do. Imagine a warm ball of energy starting at the base of your spine, gradually working its way up your back, making you sit up straighter, creating a radiant glow out through your shoulders and the top of your head that opens your eyes wider and makes you feel more alert. Do you feel it? It really is that simple to change your energy, because it's all just information. For people trapped in negative loops of self-destructive behavior, the idea that they can change their trajectory and that the way out is just around the corner in their own probability space could be what saves their life someday. So I'd like to finish with my song about that idea. It's called Addictive Personality. And that's going to be all for this time around. Next entry is called Creativity and the Quantum Universe. My name's Rob Bryanton. Enjoy the journey. Something starts to hurt you, and you just can't let it go, and you wake up feeling poorly, but you wake up wanting more. Addictive personality, addictive personality, addictive personality. Addictive personality. Is it nature or is it nurture that got you to this place where you're trading your tomorrows for what you're trapped into today? Is it the constant inundation of the media machine? Is it the way that you were brought up? Or just something in your genes? Addictive personality, addictive personality, personality. Addictive personality. Every day is a new day. Every day you're back to one. But today could be the new day. When you say you're finally done, you can find some more excuses to tell me the same. 'Cause it's easy to continue when you say I'm not to blame. Personality. 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 Addictive personality. Hi friends, just a reminder that you can now buy a 6 DVD set of my video blogs at 10thdimension.com/store.